Every empire begins with one man, not an army, not gold, not applause. One man who decides to command himself. That man can be you, if you choose. Understand this. Mastery is not built in explosions of effort. It is forged in small, deliberate increments. 1% a day, cold, relentless, calculated. That is how power is carved into your bones. Most men drift. They wake up and repeat the same patterns, slaves to impulse, slaves to emotion. That is not you anymore. From today forward, you become your own sovereign. You do not react. You dictate. You do not follow. You set the course. You move with intent, even in silence. 1% daily means this: 1 less weakness tolerated, 1 more strength cultivated, 1 thought disciplined, 1 temptation destroyed. Over time, these small dominations create a man others cannot break, cannot sway, cannot touch. This is the awakening, the first cut against mediocrity, the moment where you step out of the crowd and claim authority over yourself. Comment this phrase now and etch it into your mind. I sharpen myself daily. 2. The law of control. Control is the foundation of power. If you cannot govern yourself, you will never govern circumstances. And if you cannot govern circumstances, you will never govern men. The world respects control because it fears it. People sense when you are unshaken, when you do not flinch, when your emotions are caged behind steel walls. That is when influence bends toward you. That is when your presence alone alters the room. But understand this, control is not suppression. It is not pretending you feel nothing. It is mastery. Rage may burn within you, but it becomes fuel. Desire may rise, but it obeys your command. Weak men are dragged by emotion like prisoners chained to beasts. You, if you seek dominance, must become the handler, the master, the architect of your own inner kingdom. Begin with discipline. Train your mind to pause before action. A man who acts in impulse is a man owned by the world. A man who acts with precision is a man the world learns to obey. This is not about being robotic. It is about being strategic. Machiavelli himself warned, the prince who cannot master appearances and outcomes loses the loyalty of men and the grip of power. So master yourself first, 1 breath at a time, 1 decision at a time, 1% daily. Write it in the comments now. I am the master of control. 3. The cold edge of power. Power is not given, power is taken. But before you reach for it in the world, you must forge the edge within yourself. That edge is coldness, precision, the ability to detach when others drown in their feelings. Men around you are ruled by cravings, lust, envy, approval. They leak energy chasing validation, wasting time on petty emotions. This is why they break. This is why they submit. You will not. You must strip yourself of the illusions that chain lesser men. Your emotions are tools, not masters. Your desires are fire, not chains. Control them, direct them, and they will build you into something dangerous. Understand, people will test you. They will lie, betray, tempt, provoke. That is the nature of man. If you answer with weakness, you lose their respect forever. But if you stand cold, untouchable, if you make decisions like a blade, measured, ruthless, precise, then even your enemies will learn to fear your silence. Machiavelli knew, it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Love is fragile. Fear is solid. But the ultimate position is beyond both. Untouchable, respected, watched with caution. To reach that state, you cannot afford to be reactive. You must embody calm calculation, even when chaos surrounds you. So begin with the smallest test. When anger rises, smile inwardly. When temptation calls, delay the response. Each time you resist, you sharpen your edge. Each time you endure, you become harder to move, harder to break. Coldness is not cruelty. It is clarity. It is the fortress of the mind that keeps kings standing when empires collapse. Comment this phrase now to seal it in. I am untouchable. 4. The fortress within. Every man who rises to power faces enemies. Some strike openly, most strike in shadows. But the deadliest enemy is not outside. It lives inside your own mind. That voice of hesitation, that whisper of comfort, that craving for ease. If you cannot silence it, you will never rise above mediocrity. You must become a fortress, a structure of stone and iron that no storm can penetrate. The masses crumble when insulted, when rejected, when life denies them, but not you. A fortress does not bow to the wind. It stands unmoved, watching storms pass while weaker men scatter. To build this fortress, you must first understand its design. The foundation is discipline. Daily, relentless practice, 1% at a time. Discipline turns chaos into order. Discipline molds chaos into strength. Without discipline, your walls will collapse at the first test. The second layer is resilience. Life will strike you with betrayal, failure, loss. These are not curses. They are weapons sharpened against you. Each blow either cracks you or strengthens you. And when you learn to absorb pain without breaking, you become dangerous, because no man can control one who thrives under pressure. The third layer is perception. A fortress is not blind. It has towers, vantage points, eyes on every horizon. You must train yourself to see beyond illusions of friendship, of promises, of comfort. People will present masks. Most men fall for them. You must not. A mind that sees truth is a mind that cannot be deceived. Finally, the gate, control of access. A fortress does not let every stranger walk in. Guard your energy, guard your time, guard your focus. Not every voice deserves your ear. Not every hand deserves your loyalty. Choose allies as you choose weapons. Only those sharp enough to serve you in war. Once this fortress is built, you will not need to announce your power. People will feel it in your presence. They will sense your unshakable nature, and they will adjust themselves accordingly. Comment this now and make it your oath. My mind is my fortress. 5. The psychology of predators. The world is not gentle. It never was. Strip away the masks, the polite smiles, the staged morality, and what do you find? Predators and prey. The strong and the weak. The ones who dictate the game and the ones who get played. You must decide. Will you be the hunter or the hunted? Predators move differently. They do not chase validation. They do not beg for respect. They project power until respect becomes automatic. Their movements are slow, deliberate, economical. Their silence carries more weight than another man's shouting. They calculate 10 steps ahead, while their opponents act on impulse. That is why they win. Now understand, being a predator is not about savagery or brute force. It is about psychology. It is about perception. You read others like open books, but you never let them read you. Every word you speak is chosen for effect. Every pause is intentional. Every reaction is measured, controlled, weaponized. You become the chess master in a room full of checkers players. The masses reveal too much through their eyes, their tone, their posture. A predator notices. A predator stores that information, files it away, and uses it when the time is right. That is strategy. That is power. Machiavelli himself wrote, "Men are simple creatures, easily deceived, driven by their fears and desires." And he was right. Most men are predictable, like clockwork, and the predictable can be controlled. But here's the truth. Before you dominate others, you must first learn to dominate yourself. That is the ultimate test. Can you walk into chaos and remain calm? Can you hear insult and remain still? Can you delay gratification when every part of you craves it now? If you can, then you rise above the herd. You separate yourself from prey. Cold psychology means this: you see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. You do not cry about fairness. You do not expect kindness. You understand that most men want safety, not truth. They want comfort, not greatness. Let them have it. You want power. You want freedom. You will choose the predator's path. And when you do, people will sense it. They will hesitate before crossing you. They will measure their words around you, not because you threatened them, but because they feel your control. That is real dominance. Subtle, silent, undeniable. Write it now in the comments. Claim it as your identity. I am the predator, never the prey. 6. The laws of manipulation. Power does not survive on strength alone. Strength without strategy is a blunt weapon, loud, heavy, and easy to counter. Real power lives in manipulation, in shadows, in the ability to bend perception, to shape outcomes without raising your voice or showing your hand. Machiavelli called it the art of appearances, the mastery of seeming. Understand this: people rarely care about truth. They care about how truth feels. They follow not the strongest argument, but the most convincing presence. If you can command perception, you command reality. And that is manipulation at its highest form. But manipulation does not mean lying for the sake of lies. It means controlling the narrative. It means deciding what others see, what they believe, and what they expect of you. Your reputation is a weapon sharper than any blade. Guard it, shape it, use it. A strong image can strike fear long before conflict begins. Machiavelli warned, men are quick to judge by appearances, slow to question beneath them. This is your advantage. You must become a master illusionist, projecting strength even when you are calculating quietly. Show mercy when it gains loyalty. Show ruthlessness when it secures obedience. The key is not to be one thing, but to appear as whatever the moment demands. Dark psychology teaches this. Most men want to be led. They crave certainty. They long for someone to relieve them of the burden of choice. If you project decisiveness, they will follow you willingly, even if it is against their own interests. And if you understand their desires, fear of loss, hunger for approval, thirst for pleasure, you can guide them like a hand guides a blade. But beware, true manipulation begins with control of yourself. If you cannot act calm when betrayed, if you cannot mask fury when challenged, if you cannot play weak when it serves your purpose, then you are still a servant to impulse. The manipulator wears masks, but never forgets who he is beneath them. He adapts without losing his center. That is mastery. The laws are simple. Appear useful to others even as you serve yourself. Never reveal your full intent. Keep them guessing. Exploit desire, but feed it slowly, keeping others dependent. Punish betrayal swiftly, so fear locks loyalty into place. Reward wisely, so obedience feels like choice. When you move with these laws, you no longer fight battles head-on. You win before the fight begins. You make allies dance without knowing you pulled the strings. You let enemies destroy themselves, thinking it was their idea. This is not cruelty. This is strategy. This is survival. The world does not respect honesty without strength. It respects results, and results belong to those who master perception, control emotion, and manipulate outcomes with cold calculation. So sharpen your presence. Train your words to land like blades. Learn to listen not to what is said, but to what is hidden. Learn to give just enough to keep men reaching for more. That is the predator's elegance. That is the prince's wisdom. Comment this now to brand it into your mind. I command perception, therefore I command reality. 7. Allies, enemies, and betrayal. Every man who seeks power must accept this law. You will deal with allies, you will deal with enemies, and you will deal with betrayal. It is not a possibility, it is a certainty. To pretend otherwise is to walk blind into an ambush. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He wrote that a prince must learn how to use both the lion and the fox. The lion intimidates enemies, the fox deceives friends. Together, they create a ruler who cannot be trapped. That is your model. Strength without cunning is crushed. Cunning without strength is laughed at. You need both. Now listen carefully. Alliances are not built on love. They are built on mutual interest. As long as you serve a purpose, you are valuable. The moment you stop, you are discarded. This is not cruelty. This is human nature. Do not confuse loyalty with convenience. Most men are loyal only while it benefits them. Understand this, and you will never be shocked when the dagger appears. Enemies, on the other hand, are more reliable. They show their colors openly. They push against you without disguise. An enemy in many ways is more trustworthy than a friend. Why? Because you know exactly where he stands. Watch him closely, respect his consistency, and use him as a mirror to sharpen your own defenses. But betrayal, that is where the true test lies. It will come from those closest to you, the ones who smiled, who praised you, who swore allegiance. And when it comes, you must act decisively. Never tolerate betrayal. Punish it swiftly, make an example, and ensure the lesson spreads further than the act itself. A man who forgives betrayal teaches others to betray. A man who punishes betrayal teaches others to fear the thought. Still, punishment alone is not enough. You must learn to anticipate betrayal before it strikes. How? By watching patterns. By observing shifts in tone, hesitation in words, changes in loyalty. People reveal their intentions long before they act, but only the disciplined eye can see it. Do not be blinded by sentiment. Do not cling to illusions of eternal loyalty. Trust is a tool, not a shield. The Machiavellian truth is this: cultivate allies, but never depend on them. Respect enemies, but never underestimate them. Expect betrayal, but never let it surprise you. If you can move within this triad, alliances, enemies, betrayals, you become untouchable. And here is the highest strategy. Turn enemies into allies when it benefits you. Turn allies into stepping stones when they outlive their use. And when betrayal comes, use it not as a wound, but as fuel. Proof that you are dangerous enough to be plotted against. Only the powerful are betrayed. The weak are simply abandoned. So look at your circle. Ask yourself, who truly strengthens me? Who silently envies me? Who would trade my downfall for their gain? And then act. Build carefully. Cut ruthlessly. Stand above the noise with the calm of a strategist. Write this in the comments now and let it etch into your identity. I fear no betrayal. I turn it into strength. 8. Fear and love, the dual weapons. Every ruler, every leader, every man who seeks dominance faces the same timeless question: is it better to be feared or loved? Machiavelli answered it with ruthless clarity. If you cannot be both, choose fear. Why? Because love is fragile. Fear endures. Let us dissect this. Love depends on the goodwill of others. It is an emotion, unstable, vulnerable to jealousy, boredom, betrayal. A man who is loved today can be despised tomorrow. People love you when you serve them, when you entertain them, when you make them feel safe. But the moment you no longer satisfy their desire, their love evaporates like smoke. It was never about you. It was about them. Fear, however, penetrates deeper. Fear does not require constant feeding. Fear does not vanish with moods. Fear locks into the primal brain, into survival itself. A man who fears consequences will think twice before crossing you, no matter what his emotions whisper. Fear is respect written in stone. But listen carefully, raw cruelty is weakness. A tyrant who abuses power without strategy dies hated and hunted. Machiavelli never advised reckless brutality. He advised calculated fear. That means your punishments must be swift, precise, and unforgettable. Never cruel without reason. never violent without purpose. If you must strike, strike in a way that teaches others not just to avoid crossing you, but to avoid even imagining it. Yet do not discard love entirely. Love, when properly cultivated, has its use. Loyalty gained through admiration is powerful, but temporary. Loyalty reinforced by fear, however, becomes permanent. The perfect ruler, the untouchable man, balances both. He gives just enough generosity to inspire devotion, but enough coldness to keep devotion from breeding contempt. He rewards to bind loyalty, but he punishes to lock it in place. Understand this balance. If men love you without fearing you, they will exploit you. If men fear you without any love, they will plot against you. But if they both respect your hand and admire your presence, they will serve willingly and stay obedient. Now, apply this to your own life. With allies, inspire enough goodwill to keep them close, but enforce boundaries that prevent disrespect. With enemies, let them admire your strength from afar, but remind them of the cost of challenging you. With yourself, love your ambition enough to fuel it, but fear your weakness enough to destroy it. This is not theory. This is survival. Every empire that thrived did so because its ruler mastered this duality. The weak sought only love and were betrayed. The reckless sought only fear and were overthrown. The great understood both and played them like instruments. So do not ask to be loved. Demand to be respected. Do not beg for fear. Earn it through presence, through control, through decisive action. When people feel both, fear of crossing you and admiration of your strength, you step into the realm of the untouchable. Say it now in the comments and engrave it into your code. I balance fear and love. I am unshakable. 9. The art of patience and timing. Power is not built in noise. It is not built in frantic motion or in the restless chaos of men who mistake speed for strength. Look around you. Most men rush. They wake. They run. They chase. They panic. They mistake movement for progress. They wear themselves out fighting every battle, speaking every word, chasing every opportunity. And in their frenzy, they expose themselves. They become predictable. They become weak. The powerful man does the opposite. He understands that motion without strategy is suicide. He knows that the one who moves constantly burns himself out, while the one who waits patiently sharpens his edge. True strength lies in restraint, in the art of watching, in the art of silence. Patience is not weakness. Patience is control. The predator does not thrash through the jungle screaming for his prey. He stalks, he waits, he studies, he becomes invisible until the exact moment to strike. And when he does, it is over in an instant. One strike, one kill, no wasted movement, no wasted effort. That is patience. That is timing. Machiavelli warned, fortune is a river, sometimes calm, sometimes violent. The fool dives into the flood at the wrong moment and drowns. The wise man waits for the current to bend in his favor, then crosses safely. To act too early is as dangerous as acting too late. Both destroy you. But the man who knows when to wait and when to act rules fortune itself. Think about it. The empire you want cannot be built in one day. It must be constructed brick by brick with discipline. That is patience. Yet when the enemy breaches your walls, hesitation kills. That is timing. Both are necessary. Build slowly, strike swiftly, wait long, act short. Now listen carefully. Patience without timing is wasted time. Timing without patience is reckless impulse. You need both. That is the law of power. In conversation, learn to weaponize silence. Most men rush to speak, exposing their insecurities, their ignorance, their weakness. You, stay silent. Let them talk. Let them reveal themselves. People betray their intentions through their words if you give them time. Your silence unsettles them, makes them nervous, forces them to keep speaking. Meanwhile, you remain unreadable. You learn everything while giving away nothing. That is patience. In negotiation, patience is your armor. Impatience is your enemy's weakness. Let him squirm. Let him reveal his desperation. The longer you sit calm, the more he doubts himself. The man who controls the tempo controls the outcome. And when you finally speak, your words carry the weight of thunder. That is timing. In relationships, whether with friends, lovers, or allies, patience reveals truth. A man who rushes into trust is a man begging to be betrayed. Time unmasks people. Give them enough time, and they will show you their envy, their cowardice, their hidden agendas. Only then decide whether they deserve loyalty. That is patience serving strategy. And when the time to act arrives, you do not hesitate. You do not second guess. You do not allow doubt to infect you. You act swiftly, decisively, and completely. One strike, delivered at the perfect moment, is worth more than 100 frantic swings in the dark. Half measures are weakness. Hesitation is death. Precision is everything. This is why patience is power. You allow others to burn themselves out. You allow your enemies to overplay their hand. You let your rivals grow reckless in their need for speed. And when the cracks finally appear, you move. Clean, efficient, final. Understand this rhythm: silence, observation, patience, then sudden, undeniable action. It is this rhythm that terrifies people. They cannot predict you. They cannot read you. They only know that when you decide to move, something will break. That is the kind of presence the world respects. Most men want everything now. They want the prize without the process. They want results without the discipline. That is why they remain weak. You must reject that poison. Patience makes you unshakable. Timing makes you unstoppable. Together, they make you untouchable. So train yourself daily. When insulted, do not react. When provoked, breathe. When tempted, pause. Each small act of patience sharpens your edge. Each moment of restraint adds weight to your eventual strike. Then, when you do strike, it is absolute. It lands with the force of inevitability. The world sees your timing and knows you cannot be rushed, you cannot be provoked, you cannot be broken. This is Machiavelli's law of action. This is the predator's discipline. This is the art that separates kings from pawns. Write it now in the comments. Seal it into your mind as your creed. I wait with patience. I strike with precision. 10. Becoming untouchable. You've walked with me through the corridors of power. You've heard the laws of control, the cold edge of psychology, the fortress within, the predator's patience, the manipulation of perception, the inevitability of betrayal, the balance of fear and love, the rhythm of patience and timing. And now, we arrive at the summit, the transformation, the final step where you stop being a listener and become the architect of your own untouchable empire. What does it mean to be untouchable? It does not mean you are invincible. No man is invincible. Every empire falls, every king bleeds, every ruler is buried. Untouchable is not about escaping mortality. It is about transcending weakness. It means you are so disciplined, so calculated, so fortified that life cannot shake you. It means betrayal cannot break you, failure cannot define you, and fear cannot stop you. It means that while other men are pushed and pulled by the tides of fortune, you remain immovable, bending the current itself to your will. Untouchability is not immunity, it is mastery. Mastery over self, mastery over perception, mastery over timing, mastery over the battlefield of life. The untouchable man is not the one who never suffers loss. He is the one who never collapses under it. He absorbs the blow, hardens, and strikes back twice as precise. Now listen carefully. This state is not gifted. No crown will be placed on your head. No one will hand you the scepter. You build it brick by brick, 1% daily. The world crowns only those who first crown themselves. The 6 pillars of the untouchable man. First, self-mastery. This is the root, the foundation, the beginning of everything. If you cannot command yourself, you cannot command anyone. Control your hunger, your anger, your lust, your fear. These are the chains that enslave weak men. Cut them, rule them, use them. When your emotions become your servants instead of your masters, you become sovereign of your own mind. Without this, all else crumbles. Second, strategic detachment. The untouchable man does not chain his identity to people, possessions, or outcomes. He values loyalty, but does not rely on it. He values victory, but does not collapse in defeat. He walks alone even in a crowded room. Allies may walk beside him, but they do not carry him. Detachment means freedom. No one can bribe, seduce, or threaten a man who owns nothing but himself. Third, perception control. Understand this. Men judge by appearances more than by truth. Use this. Shape what they see. Shape what they believe. Your reputation is a weapon sharper than any blade. Guard it, mold it, project it. You don't need to reveal your soul. You reveal only what strengthens your presence. Become unreadable. When people cannot predict you, they cannot control you. Fourth, calculated alliances. You treat loyalty as a currency. You reward it, you reinforce it, but you never confuse loyalty with permanence. People are loyal as long as it benefits them. Expect this, use this. Allies are valuable as long as their utility lasts. When it ends, cut ties without hesitation. The untouchable man never clings. He builds alliances the way a general arranges soldiers on a battlefield, strategically, ruthlessly, always aware that pieces may be sacrificed for victory. Fifth, ruthless timing. Fortune belongs to the man who moves at the perfect moment. Wait while others rush. Strike while others hesitate. Do not act often, but when you do, act with such precision that no one doubts you. Patience is your armor. Timing is your sword. Together, they make you unpredictable, unstoppable, and feared. Sixth, the aura of inevitability. This is the highest stage. The untouchable man radiates inevitability, an energy that says, "You cannot defeat me, you cannot shake me, you cannot move me." His presence alone silences opposition. His reputation paralyzes betrayal. His calm infects the room. People stop resisting him not because he threatens them, but because their minds whisper, "It is pointless to resist." This is the rarest power, not through endless fighting, but through the absence of resistance. Building the untouchable frame. The untouchable man builds himself deliberately. He chooses his habits, his routines, his words with surgical precision. He sharpens his body so it obeys him. He sharpens his mind so it serves him. He sharpens his silence so it unsettles others. Every part of him becomes an instrument of control. He does not waste time chasing love or recognition. He does not beg for fairness or comfort. He does not scream for validation. The world either bends to his command or it is irrelevant. He does not fight every battle. He chooses battles that matter. He does not waste words. He speaks only when his words alter the outcome. He does not explain himself. He allows mystery to do the work for him. This is the cold, calculated frame of the untouchable. And once it is built, it cannot be broken. The Machiavellian mindset. Machiavelli knew men are fickle, disloyal, selfish, fearful. Do not hate this truth. Use it. See it as the chessboard on which you move. Weak men complain about human nature. Strong men exploit it. The untouchable man is not shocked when betrayal comes. He expects it. He is not disappointed when loyalty fails. He anticipates it. And because he anticipates it, he cannot be destroyed by it. He rewards strategically. He punishes decisively. He gives enough kindness to bind loyalty, enough coldness to command respect. He becomes loved without depending on love. He becomes feared without drowning in cruelty. He becomes balanced, untouchable, inevitable. Your transformation. Now the choice rests with you. You have two paths. One, the path of the masses, the path of mediocrity, comfort, weakness, betrayal, the path of men who crave love, who fear rejection, who waste their lives chasing pleasures that never last. That path is crowded, it is easy, it leads nowhere. Two, the path of the sovereign, the path of control, discipline, patience, strategy, the path of men who walk alone if necessary, who sharpen themselves daily, who rise above comfort, who bend the world by bending themselves first. That path is narrow, it is brutal, but it is the only path that leads to power. Which will you choose? If you have heard my words and something inside you stirred, if you felt the call to sharpen, to harden, to rise, then you already know the answer. You are not here to be ordinary, you are here to be untouchable. So claim it now, declare it publicly, write it in the comments, I am untouchable. Do not whisper it, do not think it quietly, write it boldly, make it your oath. And if this message carved itself into your mind, then you know what to do. Like this video, subscribe to Mental Fort, turn on notifications, because this is not the end, this is the beginning. Every day 1% sharper, every day 1% harder, every day closer to becoming the man no one can move, no one can break, no one can touch, the untouchable man.